Good evening, everyone. Time for another silver update. You are looking at the 2-hour chart of gold provided by netdania.com. You can click on the link below. I want to apologize to all my viewers. I haven't been able to post videos in the last few days because if you follow my blog, you know that I have been involved in migrating my blog off of the free format of WordPress.com over to the self-hosted format of WordPress.org. So it's been a very trying experience to go through all those things. I've learned more than I ever wanted to know about DNS, CSS, plugins, and so many things I can't even tell you. But it was a fairly smooth transition. We went ahead and flipped it over on Saturday night, Sunday morning. It took roughly 24 hours or so for the DNS to all update, and hopefully we didn't lose anyone. I had a couple people IMing me or PMing me and sending emails saying, hey, what happened to the site? And so I tried to post a under construction sign that would let people know when they've arrived at the new blog. So it's really complicated. I'm going to go into that when I look at the blog, but I want to jump into the technicals here real quick. This chart here, the main things I want to point out are the diverging, we pointed this out before with silver, but gold seems to be forming a better technical picture here. We've got a couple of lines. We've got the overhead resistance at around 1800, which would be my expectation for a breakout and a run towards the old highs, if that's to be the case. We've also got this high here of just above 1760 where we rallied and then turned down. This coincided with the unemployment smackdown that came with the surprisingly good, surprisingly cooked number that they came out with. I really honestly can't tell you how they can possibly try to keep these good numbers coming in an employment situation all the way through the election. Not that the Federal Reserve or the powers that be have necessarily a stake in making sure that the person in power remains in power. So if you remember with George Bush Jr., it was virtually impossible to keep that collapse from occurring before he got out of office. So they have certain powers. If you remember Rick Perry when he was still in the debates before he made his tremendous gaffe in the debates, and he just kind of fell away from that race at that point. But he made kind of an overt, covert threat saying that the Fed better not come in and do some kind of QE3, because of course that's going to benefit Obama. So the independence of the central bank is always in question when you start to move into an election cycle, because obviously the central bank has the power to goose the money supply to create a kind of pop. Now with that unemployment number that we had, it was really ugly as far as the workforce participation rate. And of course, if you think about it, that's the key figure. The workforce participation rate is just the number of people who are working and therefore paying taxes. So that's really the key number. But you know how the government operates. They do a lot of fancy, I think the saying is that statistics don't lie, but liars do statistics, or something like that. So it's an election cycle, and we may see an inflationary move just to keep things propped up. So in this gold chart here, what we want to look at is whether or not we're in a transitionary phase with the technicals. Now, I pointed out before that you want to look at your signals and see how valid they are. Obviously, there's a very strong buy signal at this point. And you had a sell signal that was overridden, and then you trended down to the next sell, even though you trended up here. So we were still in a rising market at that point. and then we got these sell signals. Now the question is, are the signals starting to flip? So a very strong buy signal here, you can see that was overridden by a newer low but a higher MACD. Since this point here where the trend line is drawn, we seem to be rounding up into a situation where the buy signals are valid and the sell signals are not. So we may be into the next move of this bull phase. You have a buy right here, very valid buy, and you kind of drifted to get another buy here. Would have been a very good place to buy again. We get a sell here, and you can see this line is sloping down, but the price is sloping up. So if we begin to rally from here and go up something like this, there's a very good chance that we'll cross the positive, we'll break through this resistance, we'll break through this resistance, and of course from that point we're on towards 1900 and the old highs. I think if we're just going by the technicals, you could say I can't see why we wouldn't. Want to look at the Japanese yen real quick because this is a real key one. We got a rally out of the unemployment figures, and I was seriously expecting central bank intervention. I don't think we got that. If we put in the volume chart, we just didn't see. You can see this intervention stage here back in October. Usually when you have central bank intervention, you see enormous volume enter into the situation. So we had a couple pops, one here and one here. But I would guesstimate that maybe there was some follow-on effect with that employment number, but I don't really see intervention. So over to the silver chart. Silver is not looking quite as bullish as gold, but we have that same kind of MACD divergence going on with the trend going up and the MACD going down. So if we do get a strong move to the upside, we could very well penetrate this old high and move up into new highs. So of course, no one can say for sure. If we could, we'd all be billionaires like Jimmy Rogers or Jesse Livermore, but we can't. So we can only guess. But we just want to try to stack at the low points and stack before things get away from us. So I want to jump over to the issue of stacking real quick here. And one of my viewers pointed out that the moose are now out, and I did a extended search to find these. I really don't think that there are many that have been sold. The reason why I say that, I'm going to go through the top 3 or 4 here, but first I want to jump over to the eBay, and you can see on the eBay that the pictures are kind of stock pictures. We don't have too many sold here, but if you look, you've got one here that went for 49 bucks. You've got another for 49 bucks, another for 50 bucks. So, but you've got these stock pictures. If we go to the other ones, we don't really get a good relief. So the first thing I'm going to request is that if anybody has a very high definition picture of this coin, I would really appreciate it, because I really want to know how good this coin is. My initial impression is that I like this coin. It seems to have some, it's a little bit boring in the background, but it seems to have some artistic balance. I'd really like to see the definition on the grass and the rest. So let's go through the sites that have it. They all have it now. You can see that you've got it over at APMEX, and the cheapest when you're going 500 or more with the bank wire, checker wire, you got $37.83, which is a little bit around, I think, $3.99 over spot. So we want to go over to the Provident Metal site, and they've got it for as low as $37.56. I think the big winner is going to be over at Gainesville, and they've got it for $3.29 over spot. So we've got current spot. I like that. That's a very good feature that Gainesville's doing here. So I want to commend them for that. they've got current spot, and then they've got over spot. So you can quickly calculate exactly what you're paying. So it looks like Gainesville has the best price on this coin. Again, they don't have the best relief on this coin. It seems to almost be like a mint issue. The RCM actually took a picture, and I don't know why you'd take a bad picture, but it doesn't have a lot of resolution, not like the ones we see. So we're waiting for a good picture to come out with really high resolution. That's really going to determine, in my mind, whether or not this is going to be what I consider, and if you've watched my channel for a long enough time, you know that I like the what I will call the semi-numismatic plays. I like the coins that are bullion, but they also have a numismatic potential pop. And you can see how these are going for near 50 bucks on eBay. So this one might be the next one. I'm thinking that it is, but I really want to see a high relief of that. So that takes me over the next topic, and that is the blog itself. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a poll. Hopefully my plugins work. And if you know anything about WordPress.org and migrating from WordPress.com to WordPress.org, you have a very serious plugin situation that you have to deal with, because a lot of the features that are available on WordPress.com are not, unless you do the plugins. So I've added a WordPress poll. I'm going to do that after I finish this video and add a poll here, and I want to know if people think that this is a winner. So I'm going to put that as the next post on here, and that'll be up after this video goes live, and you can come to the blog and put in your opinion of whether you think this new RCM coin is going to be a winner as far as numismatic, and if it's a decent price where it is. So this is the new blog site. This is over at Rackspace. And I looked at a lot of other providers and actually dealt with a lot of other problems. I wanted to give a shout out to my kind of friend-admin KS, who really helped me through the process, because I'm not a PHP guy, I'm not a server admin guy. I know networks and things like that, but I'm really not big on all the programming that goes into a blog. But so he really helped me out. But I decided to go with Rackspace. And this is a cloud site. So one of the big reasons for those of you who are thinking about doing blogs and you want to pursue that in the future, one of the big advantages that you have when you go with a cloud, and what that means is that it's a virtual machine. So that's the new big thing in computing these days, is that these machines are virtual machines. So just so you understand that, it's like if you went and got a dedicated server over at some host and you bought this box and they configured it for you through the RAM and through the CPU and all that stuff, and you got big and your site got really big. Well, you'd have to do a migration to another box, one with more processing power. So it would take a physical change. With the cloud space and with virtual machines, they can just snap their fingers and allot you double the RAM, double the CPU, double the bandwidth, and double the space. So I'm really glad to go with the cloud. Hopefully it's performing up to snuff and the people are able to load it really fast. I really would like to have some feedback and let me know in the YouTube comments what you think, and if you have any suggestions of things that can be added. There's some ads in here. Hopefully it's not too obtuse and intrusive. And for a lot of those who've asked, there is a PayPal donate button, so you can donate if you want to support the blog or the YouTube channel. So there's some features. I'm learning these things now, but it's pretty much up and running, so I'm going to be able to dedicate my time spending more time to actually making videos and getting back to reporting the news and doing things on YouTube. So that's the blog, and hopefully you like it. If not, go ahead and give me feedback and let me know what you don't like and what you'd like to see, and hopefully I can add those things. After this video, I'm going to do my best to put that poll up about the Moose, and you can vote whether you think it's a thumbs up semi-numismatic play and you'd buy some, or whether you think that it just doesn't work out. So back to the charts here. We are fairly strong at 33.65 on silver. There's a lot of reasons I'm thinking that we're probably going to rally from here. The main reason is the same reason we had with gold, that we have a rising trend line. The buy signals are starting to work. The MACD is just down below zero, ready to cross over. So I'm thinking that we probably could get a good rally. My next target, of course, is going to be 36. If we get through this resistance, we're going to go fairly quickly to 36, and then we're probably going to find some more serious resistance around that price where we have a lot of past trading in that area. We need to go back just one more. And when we get to 36, you can see there's just this big area of resistance and churning, plus kind of an overhead right here. So that's the next target. Hopefully we can rally on this MACD move and get up to 36. And on the way, if you're interested, you're going to want to pick up some of those moose. My personal vote, I'm going to go ahead and vote, and I'm going to say that it's a thumbs up for the moose, and we'll talk to you next time.